I do not understand why most black men are so obsessed with women subjecting themselves to struggle love. I do not get it. I don't get the logic behind it. And I feel like a lot of men need to open their mindsets and understand why most women would prefer to be with a man who provides. Because I've seen and I've been through it myself. You can hold a nigga down in his most lowest moments. You can be there for his struggle, and a nigga will turn around and pretend like he did everything himself, even when he got a bitch back at him. Do y'all think women just develop the mindset of, oh, I only want a nigga that provides for me? No. They was there for a nigga when he was struggling. They was there for a nigga while he was locked up. They was sending money, putting money on the books, motherfucking putting money in that commissary, answering them phone calls. They was motherfucking fronting niggas when they was fucked up in the streets, all types of shit. And they got curried in the process.
So I think there's a couple of issues that most men, right, find with stuff like this. One of that being very simple. We are not niggas, right? Like that Tommy Davidson at the Breakfast Club. Who are these niggas, right? I don't refer to myself like that. My company I keep don't refer to themselves like that. We look at that. There's a certain class, and it's a socioeconomic one. When you're dealing with people on that level, you're talking about holding you down in the streets, holding you down when you've been locked up, putting money on your commissary. All of this type of behavior is sort of part of that culture. When you take that, right? When you take that and now throw it largely out at the rest of us, as if we're responsible, we have to make sense of why this doesn't work or this work. No, that's not the culture described to. That's not the being. That's not where I've worked to find myself. But you never put the proper label. You never put the proper context. You don't want struggle love, right? You say you don't want struggle love from the people that I associate with. I associate with niggas. I associate with this sort of lifestyle. I'm comfortable with someone going to jail. I'm comfortable with holding down someone. No. What do you want? You want someone that has a life that's in the streets and then suddenly expect higher brow, higher tier sort of outcomes from that? How does that make any type of sense? I'll wait. Let me know down in the comments. And while I'm waiting, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still trying to do 2 a day. Still trying to go strong, even though algorithm is algorithmic. So this is something that the more I dive into social media, the more I think it becomes obvious to most people. There is a distinction. There's a difference in terms of, I don't want to just label it simply as class. It's not something as rigid as class, but when you partake in a certain type of lifestyle, you have to sort of accept everything that comes with that. You want to be with someone that gets the fast money. And I'm not talking American greed. I'm not talking about these people that end up cheating people, Ponzi schemes. No, you want people that rob, cheat, steal, scam. And then you want this actually decent behavior from them. No, it's a package. It's a package deal that you subscribe to every month, like Netflix. So now you look at that and you say, well, why do you think we're suddenly tired of this? We don't want the struggle love anymore, but you subscribe to it. You just didn't read in terms and conditions. You thought it somehow gave you access to more. It allowed more for you to happen in life, that you're going to hold down someone and he's going to treat you right. No, he's got 4 or 5 other women. He's got 4 or 5 other baby mamas. You come and now you end up being number 6. And you look at you now, you say, you get online, you talk about how these men, or men, you never say these men, you say men are the problem. The ones you associate with, the ones you open your legs for, the ones you became enamored with, their type of lifestyle. Now, people that say, I may have grew up around that, but I made conscious decisions and say I didn't want that. I didn't want to go out here and have 4, 5, 6, 7 baby mamas. So I was judicious. I was careful. Now, when you say these things, why are other men like me supposed to respond to that? Supposed to now catch the ire of that? Now you've dealt with that. And we all understand the growth. We all understand that. But you go into the dating market and now you have all this trauma and baggage with you. Now you're talking about struggle love. But you're sitting across from me at dinner and I'm looking at you like, what are you talking about? I'm not responsible for any of that behavior. In fact, that was the type of class of man you were sort of interested in. The fact that you still speaking in this way, you're still conversing this way, tells me somehow wires were crossed and we should have been star-crossed lovers. We should have never met. This doesn't make any sense until you're ready, right? And this is allowing people to say you grow up, you make mistakes, and you grow from them, you change from them. When you put away childish things, you become an adult. That's what's supposed to happen. The fact that we have a more integrated society allows you to dip and dab from so many different wells. Yeah, you pretty enough to date the rich man. You're pretty enough to you're always going to be pretty enough where it doesn't matter. You're in the ghetto, you're getting attention. You get attention across the globe. You get attention from a billionaire sheik that wants to, defecate on you in Dubai. You can get attention from globally. If it's possible to beam your image out into a larger universe, you may get attention over there. But where you find yourself culturally, mentally, is going to determine where you actually end up staying. You cannot think you're being highbrow and then you're going to go into, say, ghetto sort of culture. And by ghetto, I'm not making it specifically black. We just never felt, white trash and put that out on TV, but it exists in large number. You can't talk about, or you're around and marrying your cousin or kissing your cousin is a regular thing, and then go into other highbrow society and think people are not going to see, hey, what's going on here? They're not going to spot the difference. If you are enamored, if you're moored in that sort of culture, in that part of society, then you have to understand that your outcomes are going to be reflective of those. Your expectations should be reflective of those. If you're talking about, well, all men do this, you don't understand, women get tired of struggle of. When you go on to another side, you're going to have to drop off a lot of that. If you want better, you have to do better. You can't put that on the rest of us. I can't date white trash women all my life and say, where the good Becky's at? I don't understand this. Why do I have to keep dealing with this cheating, this lying, this meth? Why do I have to keep dealing with that? No. Now you want to date someone that went to a cotillion. You want to date someone with high brow, high standards, high manners. No. You've been moored in this sort of nonsense for all your life, or for a majority of your dating. Think of it like this. You've got different dating pools. We can lead and jump from one to the other, but you actually have to migrate from one to another. Probably in this culture, migrate's not the right word, but you just don't get to say, tomorrow I want better, I'm going to deal with these people over here. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, because you bring in your crud, your piss, right? From your pool, you bring it to somewhere else and they say, that's not the content of a piss we're used to. Over here, we have piss, but it's watered down. It's less than this. We understand there's a struggle, but we don't have that same struggle. When you come over here saying niggas, bitches, all the derogatory slurs, it's like a calling card of where you're from. Now you want to seem like the rest of the world has to sort of understand and deal with this. No, they don't. They don't. We constantly have this intermingling where we think this makes sense, and you don't understand why you can't seem to find these other men. Where have all the good men gone? They listen to the way you talk. They listen to your language. They listen to how you express yourself, and then they just simply avoid you. That's it. And the same thing that women do. You look at the way he's dressed. You look at the way he moves. You look at the way he carries himself, and you say, no, it's not for me. Because we associate these things with certain parts of the culture. You may not like it. You may not think it's right. You may not think it's fair, but it's what we do. You call it pattern recognition. Call it whatever you want. But I can't hold myself a certain way and then tell all these women that they're bitches because they don't F with me. It's not how it works. It's not how it ever works. Until we have a better understanding of what we're putting out there, the content we're putting out there. And then some of us, I think, have a duty to say, hey, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. You have to sometimes sit back, combat, and say, shit, that's a lie. You know that doesn't work. You know that's not right. You know that's not true. Just so we have a counterpoint narrative going out for a lot of this stuff that gets pushed out. But if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see videos on your screen right now, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those videos, in those videos, of course. And if you listen to my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. We're trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.